Hey y'all, today I'm going to be making a meatloaf, and Randy and I have been talking about we'd really like to have a good meatloaf sandwich. So that's why I'm going to be making the meatloaf today. And there are really good meatloaves and there are really bad meatloaves. So but also what might be good to me would be terrible to you. So when you're making your meatloaf, my suggestion is put the things in it that you like. Sometimes I put barbecue sauce in my meatloaf. You may think that sounds terrible. So, just don't put it in your meatloaf. There are so many variations of meatloaf, you'd probably never be able to make them all. And the meatloaf I make today, I don't want it to be overbearing with any particular ingredient. And so I'm going to just put a little of this, a little of that, and I think it will be really good. After it's finished, I'm going to turn it out into some sort of dish. And after it cools on the countertop a little bit, I'm going to stick it in the refrigerator. And then when I'm ready to make the sandwich, I can just cut it in slices. And I got this bread to use. It's a Nature's Own, perfectly crafted hamburger brioche style buns. And brioche, has just a little bit of a sweetness to it. And I'm not gonna toast the bread. I'm going to fry toast it. Put just a little bit of butter on it, a little bit of garlic salt, and put it in my pan. And I put that butter and garlic salt on just one side. And fry it until it's very lightly brown on one side, and flip it over and let it get good and hot on the other side. And then I'll fry my meatloaf with a nice crispiness to it, and I'll put it on that bread, and then that will be our sandwich. So I guess that we better get started. And as you see, I'm at a different spot doing this. I tire out real easy because of having been sick, so I thought this just seems like the perfect place to mix up this meatloaf. I keep y'all on your toes. So here's my bowl, and here is some hamburger meat that I have gotten. You don't want to overwork your meat, whether you're doing meatloaf or hamburgers or anything, because it'll make your meat get dry and a little tough. So I'm going to add all my ingredients to this, and then I will mix it all at one time. I didn't know this was going to be quite so hard to do. Okay, there we go. All right. So I have the hamburger in. Now, and this does not have to be in any particular order, the way you put your ingredients in. Here is some brown sugar, and I would like to have a little bit of a sweet taste. So I'm going to put one nice big spoonful of brown sugar in there. Next, I'm going to use Italian breadcrumbs. And I'm going to use what I think will be about a cup. You can use regular bread or crackers. I just chose to use that. Then I love sweet pickle relish in my meatloaf. And so I'm going to put not a whole lot, because this sweet pickle relish can take over a dish real easy if you let it. So that might be a little too much. I'm trying to get some of the juice off of it. I'm gonna put a nice big spoonful of the relish. Ouch, I just pinched my finger. Okay, next, I'm gonna add 2 eggs. That's a binder, along with the this, to help keep your meatloaf together. So I'll put both the eggs in. I have a trash can or a little trash bag over to my right. So I needed a 15-ounce can of tomato sauce, which come to find out I didn't have it. So in the place of it, I'm going to use some of this Hunt's 4-cheese pasta sauce. And I don't think that the Italian spices in it is going to hurt it that much. And I'm going to put about maybe 10 ounces or so. That looks about right. And then if I need more, I'll have it. And that will not go to waste, because I'm going to mix it with some ketchup and brown sugar for the glaze. So it'll not go to waste. And then regular ketchup. I put probably 1.5 tablespoons or so. And it seems like I'm putting a lot of ingredients, which I am, but you do not have to put all this in yours. And this is green pepper. It's some of the last green pepper out of my garden. And then here's onion that I have diced really finely. Green pepper, I think, gives meatloaf a special flavor. Okay, we're coming into the home stretch. Okay, here is my garlic. I'm almost out. And we're going to use not a huge amount, but I am going to put a little extra because everything's good with garlic. So the oil and the garlic goes in, but there's not that much oil. Now that's a really tiny spoon, and I've put 2 of those. I'm going to put 3 nice heaping spoons like that. Okay. Then mustard. And I'm just going to put, that's about a tablespoon. And Worcestershire, I'm going to put about a tablespoon. And I believe that the last is going to be some salt and pepper. And that is maybe a teaspoon of pepper. I used to hate pepper, but now I really enjoy it. And a little bit more, about the same amount of salt as pepper. And I believe that is everything, like I said. Just making sure. So when I get this mixed, I'm going to put it in this pan, loaf pan. And once I'm able to cut the slices, I think it'll work out real well. But I might have to kind of only use 3/4 of a slice because of the size of the bread, but it'd be okay if it hung over the side too. So I will go ahead and mix this up. I was kind of undecided if y'all would want to see this part. It's kind of yucky. So it was really cold last night, but today it has turned out to be a beautiful day. And you know, last night Randy and I did that Sam's Club grocery haul, and we talked about it today, and I told him there was so many nice comments about him helping me, and he was funny, and y'all enjoyed watching the video, and just all the different sweet things y'all said. And he was just laughing and just thought that was wonderful that y'all enjoyed watching him be silly. He has always had a good sense of humor. So when I turn this, really all I'm doing is sticking my fingers down in it and getting some, pulling up and sticking my fingers down in again. I'm not squeezing it or kneading it or anything like that. I'm trying not to manipulate it any more than I have to, but I do want to make sure all the ingredients get mixed up in it. So I believe that that is good. And I'm going to go ahead and put it in the pan. The meatloaf seems good and moist. But if yours was a little dry and you use the tomato sauce or the spaghetti sauce or whatever you have on hand, if it felt dry to you, you could just add a little more of that to help moisten it up. And I love meatloaf and mashed potatoes. That is one of my all-time favorites. And also, this is another hint. I have not done it, But some people will put a couple slices of bread in the bottom of their baking dish, so that when their meatloaf's done, that bread absorbs the grease. So anyway, here it is. I believe it's all ready to go in a 400-degree oven, and I'm going to put it in for about 45 minutes, and after that I'll check and make sure that it's done. I'll go ahead and let it cool, and when it's ready to slice and fry, I'll come back and we'll do that part. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay, the meatloaf finished cooking. I put it in the refrigerator so that it will cut good and hold its shape when we go to fry it. And so now we're going to brown the bread, and once it browns, then we're going to go ahead and cook the meatloaf and make our sandwich. So in the pan here, I have it turned on medium high. As I showed you before, I'm going to use the brioche hamburger buns. And these buns are pretty thick. So you're going to want a nice big thick piece of meatloaf to go in it, or you're going to be tasting too much bread. So I'm going to get 2 buns out. And here is butter. And you don't, if you want a lot of butter, you can put a lot of butter. I wouldn't particularly put a lot of butter, but that's just personal taste. So you want to put some butter and then some garlic salt. And just turn it upside down on there. And we'll do all 4 pieces like that. And you don't have to even butter your bread. You don't have to toast your bread. This is just what I think would make the best sandwich. And so now we have that in there, and I'm gonna let the one side get a little toasty, a little brown. And then I'm going to flip it over. And this is how our meatloaf turned out. And you see that looks like grease around it. Well, some is grease, and some is the glaze that I put on top. But naturally, you're not going to eat that grease. And it will cook, any excess grease will cook off of it when you're frying it. So I'm just trying to get these browned so that we can move on to the next step. I'm going to go ahead and get a couple plates. I know that's right in your ear, and I'm sorry. See, it's starting to brown, and that's what we want. It's starting to be another cold night tonight, which I enjoy these cold nights. Snuggled up under the cover, watching a good TV show is very fun to me. So now it's starting to get our bread brown. And I'm just going to let that go on the other side. This one probably needs to turn back over for a minute. Yeah, I need to turn that down. Okay. So our bread's ready. And now we want to cut our meatloaf in nice big chunks. And I tell you, we kind of got ahead of ourselves, and I didn't let it sit in the pan long enough, and it kind of lost its shape, but it's still going to be good. Also with this, I feel like I could have used maybe another egg and another half cup of the breadcrumbs as the binder. And on this, you may want some cheese, mustard, ketchup, barbecue sauce, just whatever makes you happy when you eat a meatloaf sandwich. And if you've never had a meatloaf sandwich, you are in for a big treat. Because as I said, sometimes you can get bad meatloaf, and sometimes your meatloaf is good meatloaf. And if you get good meatloaf, you are in for a treat. So I believe I'm going to give this a turn. Hopefully it will stick together. Yeah. I don't know if you can see or not, but it's got a little bit of char on it. And if I had let this sit in the refrigerator a little bit longer, it probably would have held its shape even a little bit better. But we were getting hungry, and so I just decided to go ahead and cook it. And what I think I'm going to do, well, with mine, I think I'm going to put a little ketchup. And I'll ask Randy what he wants on his. And he may want a second one, so I'll leave things out for just a little bit. And if he wants a second one, I'll make it for him. And I believe it's done on both sides. And I need to push this back out of the way. Push that back up in there. Cut it in half. And this is our meatloaf sandwich. So it's a little messy, but it's worth it. So thank you so much for watching the video today. I hope that you learned something, and I hope that you try this recipe and you enjoy it. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful Sunday. Bye-bye.